We're dancing like a little party. I know. Oh, I'll take this off. You know, in the Lord of the Rings, where it's like, no man can kill me, and she takes off her helmet, she's like, I am no man. That's what the moment I just had with this helmet is. Yay.
Okay, everybody, let's get started on this beautiful Wednesday evening in Primerica. We got a couple days left in the month of October. We got a great webinar for you. We're going to talk about some scary facts about IULs. And I am Jake Marchesani, Jake from Primerica, not from State Farm. I'm the regional life sales manager for the Northwest. And with me is Mary Miracle. She is the regional sales manager for the Mid-Atlantic.
Whoop, whoop.
We're just excited to be on with you guys tonight. We're going to go over some really good stuff in combating IULs. That's really the noise that we're hearing right now, and it's only going to get louder, in my opinion. And so we're going to really dissect the policies. We're going to give you some good questions to ask, some things to look for. So if you come across any of these, that you guys are prepared. Because if you haven't come across one yet, Mary, you are going to come across one. Would you
Yes,
agree?
you
That
will.
hasn't happened yet.
Nope. Why don't we roll the tape, Jake?
Well,
You want to do that now?
we're gonna let you know there's a couple things going on there with IULs, but our audio is not working great. We had a
Oh, dang,
video
that's right. We can't
prepared
even
for you
show
guys,
it.
so we can't show it to you, but we will tell you where you need to go to find some
Okay.
great things about IULs. In the meantime, though, as you guys know at Primerica, we do what's right, right? We believe in buy term and invest the difference. And the great thing about this, guys, is this is a timeless approach. It worked in the 60s when Art Williams first heard about it, and it works today in 2025. I would argue better than ever.
Mm.
And we're going to debunk a lot of the things about IULs for you tonight. But Mary, before we jump in, can you help us define? I thought it was good if we could define what an IUL is,
Absolutely. Yes, we're
right?
doing we're doing this very objectively. We're not coming in here with, emotion over, but 101. What is an IUL? IUL is short for the Index Universal Life, okay? It's a policy that is a permanent life insurance coverage, and it combines the death benefit with the cash value component, and it grows based on the performance of a stock market index like the S&P 500. And the features that are on here are like a guaranteed minimum interest rate, a floor, which we'll get to in a minute, a potential cap, which we'll get here into a minute. But the IUL says that they offer just a flexible premium and a death benefit that can be adjusted, and then that the cash value can be accessed through loans or withdrawals. Very 101.
Yeah, in fact, we literally just Googled what is an index universal life
That's what I
policy
do
because we
think. Yep.
wanted an objective definition of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as you guys know, people buy emotionally and they justify logically. So when people are selling IULs, they're selling them emotionally, but we need to know logically why they don't work so that we can help our clients understand it. And why do we need this? Guys, because 60% of all cash value sold in 2024 was some kind of cash value. So
Wow.
that's why we all need to know what this is because the most popular kind of cash value is index universal life. And
Yep.
man, why do people sell index universal life?
Man, I'll tell
Why do
you,
clients buy it?
you can look at this picture right here, right? If you're a hammer, everything's a nail. If you and this is the one little soapbox we'll get on here. But when I was an IUL, most of my people that know my story, I was an IUL wholesaler, and then before that, I was selling IUL products. Okay, I was life licensed. That's all I was. So as an IUL life licensed person, every client to me then was an IUL client. Okay, so I didn't have the securities to invest the difference, therefore, knowing what investing the difference would look like. So, yeah, most people here, the reason why these clients choose IUL's policies is because they're only talking to IUL or licensed agents only for life insurance.
Isn't that crazy? We poached her out of the IUL companies and we got her into Primerica and we converted her. And she's one of the most passionate crusaders that we have now. which
Yes.
is so exciting that we got Mary Miracle on our team. I mean, for real though, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Like Mary said, I like to tell people like an I.U.L agent is going to look at a 25-year-old single guy who's got disposable income as a perfect I.U.L candidate. Put all your extra income here. And the same agent is going to look at a retiring teacher and
Yep.
say, hey,
Hey,
got
that's
your
what. Yeah,
401k and put it all in this I.U.L, right, Mary? That
that's it. That's it.
everybody
Yeah.
looks like the perfect I.U.L candidate. And that's why clients end up choosing it because they get sold that this is a great investment and they fall into this trap. And so we
Yes.
want to really start by the foundations and really talk to you guys about what I.U.Ls are, how
Mhm.
you can and says all cash value, Mary, is built on the same foundation. Would you agree?
Yep. Yes.
All the experience that you have with them, if you can know cash value, you can know
You can
universal life, you
understand.
can know index universal life as well.
Exactly.
One tip I like to give for the new people out there is these can be intimidating and these policies get longer and longer all the time. I had a RVP send me a policy, an I.U.L policy. It was the record that I ever got, 143 pages long.
Whoa, Jake. That's
And then he
crazy.
wanted me to look through it, right? And of course, I'll go through and try to dissect as best I can. But that can be intimidating, especially for a brand new person. So, my tip to everybody out there is the longer the name of the policy, the worse it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So, just remember that when you come across a flexible, premium, adjustable, index universal life policy, you know it's going to be a bad one. But Mary, talk to us about the foundations. The foundation of cash value is what all this stuff is built on. What is the foundation?
Yeah. So first off, I like to say that there are four evils of cash value insurance. And here's these are basically the main things that you need to know. You don't need to know everything. Here are the high points. Number one, when you look at someone's illustration on their I.U.L project or policy, there's going to be $0 savings for the first 1 to 4 years. All right, and don't worry, we come with receipts, y'all. We come with receipts. And then, of course, a bad rate of return. You want to use this as an investment tool? The maximum, I mean, on average is 2 to 4% guaranteed. Okay. And then borrowing your money at interest rates, right? You're borrowing money from these policies where then, of course, your policy then becomes the collateral. And then, of course, you lose the cash value when we die or when the client dies. Y'all, these are just the four good points to do a nice little screenshot. We are coming with receipts on what to look at and how to point it out on a policy. Show us the next one. Jake, what do
Here
you
it is.
see here? What?
Mary, what I
Am I
tell
lying?
people, you are not lying. And what I like to tell people is when you get a copy of a policy, the first place you want to go is the guaranteed illustrated values page. This is
Mhm.
just going to lay it all out here, just like this. Okay. So, first of all, I highlighted it to help us find the first evil, right? Zero savings in the first 4 years. This one's 3 years, no savings, as you guys can see. And the premium outlay is on the left, $3,600, $4,000, $4,300. So, Mary, if if I was your bank, okay, and you came to me as your banker, and you said, "Hey, Jake, I'd like to put about $4,000 a year into a savings account for the next couple of years," and I said, "Great," I opened it up for you, and then 3 years later, you came back to me and said, "Hey, Jake, remember that savings account that I opened up?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I put about $12,000 into it.
Yes.
I'd like to take some out for a down payment on my next vehicle." So I
Okay.
pull up your account and I say, "Oh, you know what, Mary? There's actually no money in that account."
I would not be, I would be very unwell. I would be
Pretty
unwell.
unwell, right?
Mhm.
And if you said, "Well, wait a second, I gave you 12 grand, where did it all go?" And I said,
Mhm.
"Well, Mary, most of it went to pay my commission for opening your account."
Right?
Would
I'd be like, I'm leaving this place. I'm never coming back. What the heck
would
did
you
I
ever bank with me again, Mary?
do? No, sorry.
Absolutely not, right? And
Right.
so that's the same thing here. If they're talking to you about it being a savings and an investment, but there's no money in it after you've poured three, four, 10, $12,000 in, that's the first evil. Okay.
Mhm.
The second evil is not totally pronounced, but I just want to show you guys, Mary. I want to show everybody. I'm not great at math, but if we look at, we're going to just calculate a basic rate of return here. Okay. If we look at the premium outlay over 20 years, how much is it, Mary?
The premium outlay over 20 years is $136,000.
136,000. And yet the cash value after 20 years is how much?
I'm seeing 58,000.
58,000. What a great investment vehicle that you can invest $136,000 into it over 20 years and it grows to 58,000. That's phenomenal, right? I mean, I'm not great at math, but is that like a negative
I feel like I'm feeling
50%
that's not
rate
the
of
greatest
return?
no, yeah.
Not the greatest, right?
Oh.
Now, one more thing we want to point out here, guys, is this is a sneaky thing that the insurance companies will put in this. So this is actually what we're showing you is an illustration for an IUL policy, okay? Now, the illustration and the policy look similar when you're at the guaranteed illustrated values. However, I want to point the attention for everybody, Mary, to the top where it says death benefit option A, right? Does we all
Mhm.
see that?
Yep, I see
Okay.
face amount right in the middle, right underneath it, I see death benefit option A.
And what is death benefit option A?
Yeah.
A level death benefit, right,
That's
Mary?
fair. I thought you were clicking to the next slide. Yes, we
No,
have
I
an
will, but I want to show everybody
sorry.
this.
Yes, it's a
So let's
level.
go to the next one
Yes,
first.
it's a left. It's a
All
level
right,
death
all right, we're gonna come
benefit.
back.
Okay.
So it's a level benefit. What's option B, Mary?
Yeah, option B is the increasing death benefit. Want
Mm.
me to go into what these are?
Yeah, tell us real quick, and then we'll
Okay,
go.
so basically, option A is when someone passes away, they will receive the face amount of their policy. Now, of course, if their policy is built cash value, then the cash value actually doesn't go to that person's beneficiary, it goes into where the insurance company's pockets. Okay, option B, they do get, yes, the face amount and the cash value. However, there's a really big difference, and I can tell you this from quoting the policies. There was all like when I went into Turbo Apps and I was quoting, it was always quoting, having me quote automatically to option A because, of course, the price was low per month. The second that I clicked off of option A and clicked option B, the price that I was quoting the client would go up on average 4 to 5 times a month what they would charge because
Wow.
they would be paying, yes, the death benefit and the or and the cash value, and so that person had to overfund the policy in order for them to justify it, right? It's all about risk to the insurance company. So very rarely you will find a policy written with option B, because it would cost an arm and a leg for the client to afford.
In my experience, Mary, the only people that have option B are people that are a little bit savvy and they kind of know they figured it out and
They,
they requested option B.
yes,
Otherwise,
yes.
is the agent really ever going to talk about option B?
No, we're never, respectfully, and I'm just telling you all how it is, okay? I've done my penance, okay? But I never quoted option B. I never did because it would out of the sale, I'd go. The second I showed them this price, they'd be like, "Oh, no, absolutely not."
But
Option A.
check out what they did, guys, in this illustration. So you see at the top, it's option A level, but then on the illustration, what is it showing? Is it showing a level death benefit or is it showing an increasing benefit?
Let's look at that net death benefit right here. I see
Wow.
300, then I see it increasing every year. What
So
is
guys, think about it. Mary,
yes.
the client is looking at this illustration. Are they seeing the top where it says death benefit option A level, or are they seeing the actual side where the death benefit is growing every year?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question.
They're looking at the net death benefit growing.
Yes,
And
they're
so
very
they
excited
think,
about
oh,
that.
I'm getting an increasing benefit. This is great. I'll have $1 million in 20 years.
Covered. Yes. Yes.
Then when they get the policy, do they ever read their policy?
Mm.
No. So then they never look and see that they actually got a level A. So that's what we call a lie of omission, right? You're
Mm.
not telling the whole truth. You're leaving out the truth and giving this client a false sense of what they're getting. So that's one area. The guaranteed illustrated values, guys, will give you a lot of ammunition to break down these policies.
Yep.
let's talk about another way that these IULs are structured, right, Mary? Tell us a little bit more about how they structure the insurance in IULs,
Yeah.
and then we'll talk about why that's actually so important. I see
Right?
agents play that off. Oh, it's not that big of a deal, but actually it can be a big deal. So talk to us about this slide here.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so first off, there's a few different, just this is just for your information, okay? There are three types of term policies out there. There are, like us, a level term, meaning that you have the face amount that you are paying for the entire term, and the price per month stays the same the entire length of the term, okay? And then you also have something called annual renewable term, or ARTs. That's where you have the same face amount for the entire term length, but your price increases every single year, okay, while keeping the same face amount. And then we, of course, have the second one that's decreasing term. That's where you have the same price per month, but then you have a lowering every year or 5 years in face amount. So those are the or three types of term that we will typically see. Ours, of course, is level, but then the IULs, that's what we're talking about. They use the annual renewable term. Why is that such a big deal? Why is that such a pain?
Well, we
Yeah.
got receipts. You know
We
we're
got
coming with
receipts,
receipts,
y'all.
right, Mary?
Ah!
And so the other thing, so after you've looked at the guaranteed illustrated values page, the next place you want to try to find, and yes, if it's a 143 page policy, it might be a little hard to find. You got to do a little bit of digging,
Yep.
but you can find the annual cost of insurance page. Okay. This is where they literally tell you how much the insurance is going to cost every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And all you have to do is multiply it out. So
Yep.
let's look at this policy. Age 36, the cost per thousand is $1.59. Okay. So let's say, for example, this policy, let's just say it's a $300,000 policy. That means that we have to multiply 159 by 300, and that gives us 477. All right. But
Mm-hmm.
that's the annual cost. So we have to divide it by 12. Okay. I know it's getting a little bit late in the evening. Okay. We're doing
No, we're
some
doing good. It makes
I think
sense.
we can handle some basic math tonight. Don't you think, Mary?
I
We can
agree.
handle it.
300 is the premium,
Okay.
the face amount.
So
Sorry. Yeah, go on.
so now that 477 divided by 12 gives us 39.75 a month. All right.
Not
So,
bad.
Mary, when
Mm,
somebody pays their insurance premium,
yeah.
let's say they pay 300 bucks. The
Okay, great.
first 39 goes to the insurance, right?
All right.
Because the insurance has to get paid. Then whatever fees and charges they get taken out, and then whatever's left over from that 300 goes into the cash value.
Right.
Okay. Now, what happens though 20 years later
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's
at
take
age
more math.
56? More math. Okay. Let's just jump to it costs $215 a month, right? For the
Yeah.
insurance. So if you're still paying $300 a month, now 215 goes to the insurance and a lot less is going into the cash value. But
Mm-hmm.
Mary, what
This
happens at age 66?
right? We look at the annual rate, multiply it, divide it by 12 to look at this $585 a month. Someone who's at retirement age, they're going to be doing that to pay for their insurance?
That's just for the insurance cost, right?
Yes.
Then the next year it's going to go up again.
Yep.
And what they tell you is you can be flexible when your payments. And
Mm,
so you can pay whatever you want, you can decrease your payments, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're not paying enough to cover that $585 a month, where do they make the difference up? The cash value, right? If you pay 300 bucks, but your insurance costs 585, that's a $285 shortfall. They draw from your cash value, and that's typically called an automatic premium loan. And what happens? It comes automatically, right? So it automatically happens whether you want it or not because the insurance has to get paid. It's a premium loan. What do we owe on loans now, Mary?
interest.
Interest. Next month, same thing, compounding interest working against you. So the annual cost of insurance actually is really important. And we like to use this analogy right here.
Mm,
So if Mary, okay, I don't, Mary's on the right side of my screen,
God
which would
damn,
be
I'm in the
the
middle. I
red
have
key.
like a belt. You see me, there's me.
All right, Mary's the cash value, okay? So Mary, you got to pull one direction, okay? See what's happening in your policy, guys, in a IUL policy is you got the cash value on one side, and the cash value wants more money, right? But then the cost of insurance is on the other side. It's pulling more money every year towards it. And so there's this tension in your policy, and eventually the cost of insurance wins, right? Because it pulls all the cash value out, and the client is left with no money. So
Mm,
that's one of the biggest challenges when it comes to these IUL products.
yep.
But Mary, let's go through this section here. Just a little dialogue on what questions to look for. What are some common things that agents might say, and how
Yep.
we can overcome them?
Yeah, absolutely. This is my brainchild real quick because this is something that I would say to the client, and then this is like debunking that. But one thing I really wanted to before we get started, when I was talking to folks about what IULs were and why they were so exciting, is because I'd say it was the best thing since sliced bread because it was like if term insurance and permanent insurance kissed, mwah, 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 boom, had a baby, it'd be the IUL. Why? Because the IUL has the small price per month, like a term, but then the longevity of the whole life policy. Plus, it had a savings vessel. So that's how I would start it, and now we can continue on with that perspective.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So is it an investment or is it
an
an
illusion
illusion?
because it's
This
spooky
is
season. Woo. All right.
all right. What do we like to say at Primerica, Mary?
The large print giveth, the small print taketh away. Where's my skull? Like Shakespeare. Right? We think we say something, but then we look at the fine print and we're like, what? Ah, and that's what you need to do. Before we go any further, you all do not need to be experts. You do not need to be able to go into an agent on agent confrontation or a 45-minute turn pager with your client, okay? You just need to know enough to point out what's already there to make your client uncomfortable so that they're saying, okay, what else can we do? Okay.
Great point. Great point, Mary. Awesome. Um, so that brings us to what some of the agents will say is
What do they say?
they say, you know, you can adjust your premium. So if you need to lower your premiums at time, we can be flexible with that. We can change
Hmm,
your benefits. We can totally adjust. This is so flexible
that
that
sounds
you can
nice,
even
Jake.
make no you can even stop making payments sometimes, Mary.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds great. Is there any fine print of that we might be able to see? Ah,
Oh, I don't know.
it's crazy. Yeah, go on, Jake. Read this, bud.
All right, so this is fine print. There
Yeah.
is a charge for cost of insurance and other expenses in years when no premium is paid into the policy. So, Mary, look, if times get tough, you don't have to pay any money into this policy.
Yeah, that's a nice benefit.
Okay. Now, premium payments, which may be greater than the initial premium, may have to be resumed to maintain the policy in force.
Oh.
Hmm. Have
Hmm.
heard of paid up policy before, right?
Yeah.
They're not usually paid up. If you stop paying, you may actually have to pay and pay more over time. Otherwise, it's going to lapse.
Right. And then there's something else that I want to point out too, is there's something called the grace period. We want to look at the fine print on grace period because if you don't catch it back up, if you do take advantage of that maybe moment where your policy is paying for itself, look at where the grace period fine print is. How long does it have till the policy lapses? What does it take to catch back up? Also, there's going to be fine print. Listen, we could throw so much in here, Jake. We had maybe, I swear, oh, could have been 120 slides of just screen grabs from all these IULs. But there's another so that's just one of the things here that we wanted to make sure that you all noticed as well as the looking at the grace period. We want to talk about flexibility with the cost, and then also you can look and see how many. There might be a stipulation where they can. There's so many times where they can only have the flexible premium so often, so they have to make their normal payment, and maybe they can do that 2 or 3 times of flexible payment throughout their premium policy life. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah, and then Jake,
Yeah.
agent told me that this builds money. with it grows, and it says it's the interest is tax deferred. And I love that idea because that makes me feel like I'm doing such a great job with what my my money needs to do.
Wow, that is awesome. Don't we all love tax deferral, right? We
I
want
love, yeah, yeah.
tax deferral, tax free, like those are some great buzzwords. Well, what does that mean that it's tax deferred? Well, the IRS has a tax law, and the funny thing is, agents will quote this as the positive reason for this being tax deferred, and not really give you the underbelly of it on why this actually doesn't help you grow money. So IRS section 7702, it's a tax law that basically defines what a cash value policy is, and if the cash value policy meets the definition, then it's tax deferred. But if it doesn't meet the definition of a cash value policy, then it's not tax deferred. And so number one, the policy has to remain in force. Number two, it's not classified as a modified endowment contract or a MEC. Now, here's the funny thing about this. Um, there's ways that they prevent. Basically, a modified endowment contract means that the cash value grew too fast for the premiums that you paid into it. Meaning, the cash value grew really good, and when it grows really good, really well, it then becomes a modified endowment contract because there's not enough premiums to support it. And now it
Mhm.
becomes taxable. So, guys,
Yep.
think about it. If your money only gets taxed if it grows, right? And then the only vehicle that you can actually get true tax deferral on the growth of your money is a Roth IRA, traditional IRA, right?
Mhm.
And so basically, what they're saying here is your cash value cannot perform too well, otherwise, it will be taxed.
Heck yeah, well, they said I want my piece.
Yeah, IRS ain't stupid, right? They're not going to be blindsided by something like this.
Oh.
And so when they say tax deferred, just know it's a buzzword, right?
Mhm.
Moving on. Here's
Yeah.
one. This is a big one, Mary. A lot
Yeah.
of times these IUL agents they'll tout that these products are much safer than the market, right? Like being in the market, it's risky. It's like you're gambling with your money and all this kind of stuff. You want to be in this IUL because it can give you some of the upsides, but it can protect you. It's a lot safer than putting your money in the risky market. How would we address
Yeah.
that, Mary?
So how I would explain it as an IUL agent was a stair step method. Okay, you have a good year, Miss Client. Boom, you can gain that interest. Okay, but don't worry if the market has a down year. Then this is called a nice little floor here, and so you don't gain, you don't lose. You just chill. You just chill here. That's comfortable. That's safe. And then on a good year, once you go up, and then another year, if we have another time where it goes down, we have this cute little floor here. That's safe. That's good. Let's look then, of course, at the illustration. What do you know? First off, it's level A or option A, excuse me, which is a level benefit. And what this just shows is I would point out, okay, so at age 51, you're going to have about $69,000, in cash value, and people really think that's amazing. That's exciting. But here's something that what I would usually then quickly flip and I swear I'm not a bad person. I genuinely thought I was doing what I was right because I wanted these non guarantees to pay out. But we have these non guaranteed assumptions. This is where people get very excited. This is where IULs just like stick because they see this is at age 51, they might have $117,000 in accumulated value to take out anytime they want. Here is the perspective that I want to make sure that we are giving our clients when it comes to this. This nice little cute outlay here is for up years every single year. What
Mm,
happens if we have a floor year, which we all know that's a cap, okay? It's not a floor, it's a cap. But uh, what happens if we have a year where we have this? Let's say at year 5, boom, we have this. Well, then all of a sudden we've not continued to go up. We're here. So all the cute magic math from year 5 down the drain. And then all of a sudden the magic math to make that 117,000 appear is gone. So it's just
Mm,
showing the client perspective of how really to untangle that verbiage. And then you can show, we don't have it in our slides, but if you go to non-guaranteed and guaranteed assumptions, right there in the fine print, it says these are not likely to occur. No kidding.
mm.
Okay. So yeah, it's definitely something to
Interesting, right? They don't show you how a floor works because then it wouldn't benefit them, right?
right.
And that leads me to one thing for everybody to understand. When it comes to life insurance illustrations,
Mm-hmm.
they are not regulated by any best interests for the client regulations. Okay. So if you are securities licensed and you give somebody an illustration of a fund, it is very strict on what you can show. You can show past performance of the fund. And then, of course, you have to say past performance is not indicative of future results, but based on how it's done, it could do this. There's
Yeah.
no best interest guidelines on life insurance illustrations. So they can literally make up any numbers that they want. They don't have to show you the floor like Mary showed there. And it gives you a very distorted view of how your policy is actually going to work. And that has led to several high profile lawsuits, which we will get to in a minute. But Mary, the
Oh,
next one here, the next one is agents will say, hey, you can access your money tax free at any time, right?
I
Whoa, tax free. That's a huge buzzword.
love it. But what? It's a
Ah,
trap! Ah! Ha ha ha! The crowd goes wild because we're having fun talking about IULs. How terrible they are. Gosh, Jake, listen, you come with receipts, my dude. Go for it. Go through it.
so this was the second longest policy that I ever received. It was 135 pages, and I was combing through it and I found this. So the large print giveth access to income tax-free loans and withdrawals, right? So that looks great on top.
I
But
like
then
it.
look how many times the word loan is listed on this page. And then really, if you go to the bottom of the page, the paragraph, that last paragraph is where they take it all away. So it says, if you take a policy loan, surrender, or accelerated benefit from your policy, you will reduce the death benefit and available policy values, and you may cause the policy to lapse if you do not repay the loan interest each anniversary. So in this policy, yes, you can take a tax-free loan, but again, what do we owe on loans? Interest. But if you don't pay back the loan interest every year, you will risk your policy lapsing. That can actually be an expensive loan, even though it's tax free.
Mm-hmm.
You,
Mm-hmm.
you got to look out for that, right? Like tax free is a big buzzword, but it's not all it's cracked out to be. Here, Mary, what about this one here?
Okay, this is my favorite thing ever. So then, of course, this is from now it wasn't a very long one. It's like 47 whole pages. But this one, yeah, we also might want to look at the fine print when it comes to the loan interest, okay? On this policy right here, I highlighted that the loan interest accrues daily and will be added to the policy's indebtedness and incur interest charges. What? So this policy with the loan, the interest was 8%.
Woo!
Imagine. But listen, what's so exciting about these parts right here, and this is why Jake and I bring receipts, is because even as the most green agent out there, and you're talking about, and you're coming across these IULs, you just need to point these out and be quiet. You might do a little explaining, but really, it's just telling it on itself. Your client reads this and they're like, "What the heck? I don't
Mhm.
want that."
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then of course and then your loan grows so big, just like, and I highlighted here pretty much exactly what Jake was saying on the other one, because you commonly find these in every single IUL, is that once the loan exceeds a cash value, especially if it's increasing that increase every day, the policy will lapse. Bye, all that for nothing.
And guys, guess what? There was $131 billion borrowed against cash values in 2021. So how many of those policies probably have lapsed since their loans are exceeding their cash values.
Yeah.
Many
So
policies.
many. And that's why IULs don't, that's why IUL agents don't hang around. Okay. So by because they're like, well, how do they feel after their client's policy lapse? Well, they don't because they're not even in the business anymore. Oh, yes. Jake, you can walk away anytime. You can cash out if you need to. Wow. Doesn't that sound great? Yeah. Like if you let, sure, Jan. Mm,
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
sure you can.
Just
Right.
cash out anytime, right?
Right. Exactly.
Except if you have a surrender charge, which most of them have,
Mm-hmm.
anywhere from 7 to 14 years on a surrender charge. So you cash out, you're going to come away with peanuts. Because also, Mary, what do they do with these policies? They hit you with a million different fees,
Dave, we
right?
could have gone through, we could have had a whole webinar on policy fees, but we're smashing this into this, okay? You also just we're putting, but yes, so many fees. Why are they a problem?
Well, number one, you actually invest less, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because not as much money's going in.
Yeah.
Number two, it then compounds out to reduce your compounding potential. So if you're getting less money going in, less money is growing, less money is compounding, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I like your last point there, not performance based, right? So whether it's growing, whether it's doing great or not as great, it's not based on that. And
Doesn't
then
that right?
we
Oh
highlight this page,
man,
okay? So
you just saw it circle the whole daggum page, Jake.
boom. This is, guys, this is half a page of a policy. So half a page blown up. And I'm just going to draw your attention to the middle one there because it mentions a couple different fees. Now, I want everybody on the webinar to
Yeah,
get your counting fingers ready with me, okay?
got
We're
my
going to
nails
go
done.
through this. So
Keep
this
going.
says benefits and values are not guaranteed. The assumptions on which they're based are subject to change by the insurer. The rates for the percent of premium expense charge, monthly cost of insurance, monthly expense charge, monthly policy fee, monthly percent of accumulated value charge, rider charge, withdrawal fee, and accumulated value enhancement. I'm counting 8 different fees and charges, Mary. Is that what you got?
That's
Eight?
what I got.
It could be easy to
What?
lose count, but I think we got 8.
That's ridiculous. All in one, right there. Yeah. And that's the thing that also we should point out. These charges right here, if you do have a floor year, all right, or a cap year, you're not winning, but you're definitely losing. Because even on those years where we have this, all those fees are still coming out, y'all. Okay. So they'll keep that in mind with your clients as well.
Yep. And then this is one too, Mary.
Oh gosh, Jake, yes. Please take on to this. Yes. The
You hear
all
this a lot, right?
yes.
So when it comes to talking about some of the downfalls of index universal life, and one of the things I want to point out is the reason why we're showing you guys all these different policy examples and why it's important for you to try to point some of this stuff out to the client is because in sales, when you as a salesperson say something, it's false. But when the client says it, it's true. So
Mm-hmm.
you can tell them about all these problems, but until you show it to them in their policy, they're not going to believe you. And so then the agents try to come back and say if they hear the objections to IULs and they say, oh, no, no, no. That's the old IULs from the 80s, okay? They work way different now. They're much better now. But Mary, can you read this quote and tell us where is this a quote from 1987?
No, no, from what I can read with my beautiful eyes, is that this is from November 11th, 2022, that consumers should avoid IULs because the insurers and agents who sell the product have no obligation to work in the consumer's best interest, right? Little brothers or big brothers not here, making sure they're saying all the right things, right? Mix
Mhm.
in massively complex products designed to juice illustrations with opaque and unaccountable features, and you have the recipe for future financial disasters. No kidding.
Wow.
Does it not always say that?
That's a
Like,
great quote. A
write
lot
it
of lot of lot of big vocabulary words in that quote.
I was
Uh,
very proud of myself.
but I think we got the point, right? Like that is from 2022. And this lady, I used to just read this quote. I never read this lady's name, but this lady's name is Bernie Birnbaum. What a name, right? But she's the director of Nonprofit Center for Economic Justice, right? So they research this stuff, and to top it all off, Mary, just to give you guys a little bit more ammunition, there's multiple lawsuits out there right now for I.U.L. So what I want you to do, if you can take a quick screenshot of this or Google this, guys, this is an ongoing lawsuit in the state of Washington, a couple suing Pacific Life over their I.U.L illustration. But then this is fresh off the press, Mary. Came
Yeah.
like this news
Your
story
phone blowing
broke
up last night?
yesterday. Everybody, all our phones were blowing up. The video that we wanted to show you was related to this. But Mary, what happened here?
Yeah, so apparently NASCAR legend Kyle Busch and his wife, a celebrity couple, are losing now I think it's over $10 million because they invested in an I.U.L. This is happening to celebrities. So if this is happening to celebrities, you bet your butt it's happening to nurses, doctors, parents, families. And yeah, so they're going after them and they're about to they're about to tell all the things.
Yeah. So, guys, constant new lawsuits coming out very consistently about these policies. These are just two high profile ones in the last 2 years. But now we want to shift gears a little bit, and we're going to move into a section
Okay.
here as we get ready to kind of wrap a couple things up here. But we want to talk a little bit more about living benefits because, Mary, these are a common feature of bells and whistles that
Mhm.
get added onto I.U.Ls, and they're also sold as one of the big advantages of I.U.Ls.
Yeah,
And there's not all they're cracked out to be.
it isn't. And listen, I'm so glad because we're here just a little over the halfway point, and I want you all to know that I'm so glad that everyone is sticking in here because these living benefits is a big deal. I want everyone to be aware that stay on to the very end because we have SNSD Omar Orapeza that he is going to be put on this panel right now. He is sitting in our backstage. We're going to have a little bit of Q&A live here all about I.U.L living benefits. So I want to keep you all on here, keep you all just that nice little carrot on the top there. But yes, living benefits. Well, Mary, how can Primerica policies beat, this I.U.L? They have living benefits. Y'all, we do too. Yeah, Jake, you can go back. I mean, we can talk about what the living benefit is. Go because there's two kinds,
Well,
right?
yeah, yeah, definitely want to define living benefits
Yes.
because
Yes.
clients are going to be like, oh, I want these living benefits, but there's actually two kinds of living benefits. So the basic definition is a benefit that pays while you're still living. That's what a living benefit is. But
Mm-hmm.
Mary, there's two different types of living benefits.
Yes.
There's defined benefits and there's undefined benefits or negotiated benefits. And so what I'd like everybody imagine you're driving down a road and you
Driving.
come to a fork in the road, right? And so the road now goes in two very different directions, and you got to pick which one.
Oh gosh.
That's what's
Okay.
happening here. You have
Oh.
defined benefits going one way, negotiated benefits going the other way. And at
Okay.
the end of the day, they are very different. So, Mary,
Mhm.
define the two benefits for us.
Absolutely. So first off, defined benefit is dollar for dollar. You need $100,000 for the benefit. You're going to take 100 from the benefit pool, which is then going to probably take away from your face amount. You get $100,000. You want $100,000. You get $100,000. Okay. Then you have your undefined benefit. That's not dollar for dollar. That's saying I need 100,000, but then the death benefit is usually reduced in ways that we'll get through it, like the actuarial discount. But you take 100,000, you get 30,000 after all the stipulations, but then still 100,000 comes off of your death benefit.
And we brought receipts for that too. But
We
real quick,
probably, yeah. So, but
we
exactly. So
do have a we do have a living benefit, right, Mary?
yes, yes, and it's
It's
defined.
very simple.
It's so
It's defined.
simple.
It's very simple to understand.
So
And it's our terminal illness benefit, right?
yes,
And
yes.
basically, if you're all Primericans, you guys know this. We got amazing stories of how this benefit has delivered for people. But it's very straightforward. And so basically, a terminal illness benefit is a client diagnosed with 6 months or less to live, a terminal illness. They can access up to 40% of their face amount, up to 250,000 in cash. They can get it. They can go take care of medical expenses, a family trip. We like to say sometimes
Right.
whether you use it for Cabo or chemo or anything in between,
Literally
you can
anything.
use
Yes.
anything. If you have waiver of premium, you can get 70% up to 400,000. But now let's look at the other type of benefits, the undefined negotiated benefits.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And this is one that an RVP emailed to me one time. And so, first of all, it defines the benefit. So, the two most common kinds of undefined benefits are chronic illness benefits and critical illness benefits, right? And then it tells you how it works, right, Mary? Can you
Hmm.
elaborate on these two for us real quick?
Yeah.
Because
And
this is
I'm going to
special.
be really
It's
quick because
just
I'm
been,
sweating over
Mary,
here.
it's just been brought to my attention that we have a special guest that we're going to get on here very soon.
Yes, and that's okay. So I know. Here we go. Listen, okay, the chronic illness. You all want to know why these policies are so inexpensive. We're like, why are they so much less or less than us? Blah blah blah. They are designed not to pay. Mary, you can't just say that. Yes, I can because it's in the freaking receipts. I'm sorry. I'm definitely not getting through legal now. But the chronic illness says right here that in order for this person to activate this part of their policy, they have to be able to not perform two of the daily living activities. That's bathing, continence, dressing, eating, toileting, transferring for at least 90 days before they can then activate this rider. Okay? And I'll give you just a very quick example here. My dad, when he was diagnosed with brain cancer, okay, this man was able to perform all six of the daily living activities 2 weeks before he went into hospital and passed away. This man would not have been able to activate this part of the policy. Okay. And then of course it goes further into it. And I know we're pushing
Yep.
to
I
get
do want to, and then I
yeah.
want to jump to the bottom real quick because
Yes, please.
the
That's the
bottom,
fine
the,
print.
the bottom is the fine print. It defines how these work, and then we'll show you example. But the bottom says for the chronic and critical illness, the administrative fee will be no more than $500. The actuarial discount. So you guys want to remember that term. Write it down. The actuarial discount, or it's sometimes called the discount factor. Okay.
Yep. I'm glad
That
you said
amount will be determined based on from the insurance company based on a number of factors such as the age, life expectancy, and we will take into account present value of future anticipated premiums. This means the payment will be less, and depending on the individual circumstances of the claim, could be substantially less than the acceleration amount. So, what in the world does that mean, Mary?
that's so many words, so many words. I kind of want to flip and through. Can you? Yeah.
Can we go
Oh,
here? This
yeah.
this is what it means. Let's break it down
Just keep
simply
going.
like
Yeah, I was gonna say keep going. My thing is messed up. Keep
so a defined benefit is where the acceleration amount that the client requests equals the acceleration payout. So in our terminal illness, if they request 100,000, they get 100,000 and their death benefits reduced by 100,000. But an undefined benefit is where the acceleration amount that you request first has to get multiplied by the actuarial discount.
going. Mm-hmm.
Now it means you're going to get a lot less than you requested. That's what equals the acceleration payout. So,
Sure.
Mary,
Yeah.
show us the example.
No, you show us the example. How can I thought you were like, I have to do this because I work so hard. Jake literally just yeah, go
No,
through.
that's later.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Well, then basically what this is, after all of that, where it comes talking about the factors of age, this basically shows this person, for example, wants to take $190,000 in a benefit, okay? $190,000 for critical illness. After the factors of age, the actual aerial discount, the life expectancy, this and this and this, as you see right here in the receipts, that person is going to get a check for $30,000.
so
But
they asked for
yes,
190,000,
yes,
but they're only receiving 30.
yeah.
So then I would say, well, then my policy would get reduced by 30,000, right?
Yeah, no, it goes off by the 190,000. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. So this client before acceleration had 200,000 in their death benefit. They asked for 190,000, only received 30,000, but now their death benefit gets reduced by the 190. They only have $10,000 left in their death benefit, that is crazy.
That's terrible.
Is that what clients really want for living benefits?
And that's the thing, and that's the most gotcha kind of moment when you're looking at these. It's like, tell me what your benefit is. Well, you can't tell me what your benefit is because you have to call in and get the age discount because it's all about your age, your health, your life expectancy. Like with Primerica, guys, it's dollar for dollar, so simple.
Yep.
I'm
So
sweating.
guys, we have a few more slides that we can go, but we would be remiss. We want to take this opportunity to welcome onto the panel an amazing leader. We just found out Omar Oropesa, $2 million earner, legend in Primerica. He got on our webinar and he wants to speak to you guys and have a quick conversation as we start to wrap up. So can we promote Omar? Omar, are you there?
Yeah, push him out here.
Come on in. Come on
I
into the
can't wait to
webinar.
see his Halloween outfit because he
While
probably
we're waiting for Omar, I do want to point to this slide here, guys. We got a great brochure
yes.
on POL called Get the Facts on I.U.L. And what I love about this, guys, is this brochure breaks it down into very simple language, okay? I.U.Ls, as you guys have seen, there's a lot of tricky language, there's a lot of confusing language. This brochure breaks it down into very simple terms and has a lot of quotes. Like we got that one quote that we read to you already. We got a bunch more from this brochure that really shows why I.U.Ls are bad for the consumer. But Omar, how you doing this evening?
Omar, hey!
Hey, I'm trying to how do I flip on the video? It's only audio on me.
Only audio. It's a good picture of you though.
It doesn't. You look very handsome. Oh,
Let's see. I don't know if I can
I'm
do.
looking. I can just see pinned. Hmm.
Okay.
There you
Hey, there it
are.
is.
Am I here?
Yes. Hey, everybody. Wow.
I
Thank
can't
you.
see myself anywhere, so.
You look great.
Oh, there you go. There you
There we
go.
go.
I'm in my home office right now. I'm in my home office. So I just wanted to a couple things. The training was really, really, really good. I mean, I've already requested the recording and the slides, and I'm going to definitely use this with our team. So I mean, unbelievable, Jake. I already text your dad and let him know what a great job you did. And Mary Miracle, I asked, is that really her last name? She said, yes, it was. So I'm like, I love the name. Awesome. Um, how you guys broke it down is pretty much exactly the way that I do it. Term coverage is all cash value. So, like, whole life is decreasing term with a cash value, all universals, annual renewable with a cash value, and junk fees and all that kind of stuff. So, everybody needs to understand all cash value is term. Just when we write it, it's strictly term. When they write it, they're wrapping it up with all these junk fees and cash value and like fake investments. The other thing that I love pointing out is whenever I run into one of these, I always look at the back and I look at who the rep is. Then I go to brokercheck.org and I look there and I go, oh, he's not investment licensed. So, did you know that you're getting investment advice off of a person that's not even
Ooh,
investment licensed, right? So that's
mm,
always a what? And then I hit them with yeah, and actually this is not even an investment product because if it was an investment product, you would need an investment license to write it. So you got all these idiots out there with life only licenses acting like they're investment gurus giving you advice. And I've just proven to you over year one, two, three, you have a negative 100 rate of return. So let me ask you a question. If you gave me investment money and after 3 years, you earned a negative 100 rate of return, meaning you had $0 left, how would I do as an advisor? And they would be like, terrible. I go, exactly. So your guy is terrible and he's not even an advisor. So you guys explained it really, really nice. I get deep, harsh into it because I get mad because I'm in their homes and I'm
right. Yeah, I bet you do.
I do. And that you used to write it is unbelievable because you could really help us learn the way them idiots really promote it, market it, and stuff. So that is a unique little twitch there. So the only question that I had is on that slide where it was year one, two, three, where the net death benefit went up, but it was option A at the top. So
Yep.
are you guys just telling me that they just flat out lie and they list it like it's option B, but they list it option A at top, and then in the policy it isn't that way, correct?
That is exactly what we're saying, Omar. Yep. Um, because there aren't any regulations, on these illustrations. So
Mm.
they show the death benefit increasing in the illustration, and then it's written as a level, option A level death benefit. And so
That
that's what
that
I
is
really think.
incredible that they could maliciously. I mean, it's one thing, to not have rules, but they're blatantly lying. They're using option B death benefit and they're listing it option A up top. So they're using the option A premium per month, but the option B death benefit to make it look better.
Yeah. And then of course, when somebody gets their policy in the mail or the agent delivers it to them, however they get their policy,
They
do they
never read
ever
it.
open it?
No.
No.
Actually,
No.
when we open it for
Yeah.
the first time, it's
Yep.
usually cracking like because it's never been opened or it's in an email lost somewhere. They got to look for like 2 days for it to get it. And so I'm like, that's what they want. They don't want you to
Yep.
have it readily available because then you might look at it. But this way, you're definitely not looking at it. So
Definitely not. And then Omar, can you share with us real quick, because we're almost done, why is it so important for Primerica agents to get a copy of whatever policy the client already owns as they're sitting down with them, doing a kitchen table, an F&A, looking to go replace it? Why is it so important to get a copy of the policy?
one of the biggest mistakes that new reps make is they'll replace it and they never went over the policy with them. And then, of course, the old agent calls the client, tells them more lies. Then the client gets spooked, and then they want to drop your policy because you didn't do a good job up front. So I was training our guys, make sure you get the policy, you break it down with them just like you did with us this evening, and then explain to them now we're not going to cancel it until your new one is approved with us. When it is approved, then I will tell you where to call. We're not going to call the agent. The agent has already lied to us and will lie again. What we'll do is you'll call the 800 number because they will not lie to you because that's a recorded call. And so that's where you'll cancel it once ours is approved. So, excuse me, I'm a little under the weather, but it's always people half-ass it and they don't get the policy and they replace it with the basic stuff like when was it issued, how much it no, get the policy, break it down, bring value to the client. And if you bring value to the client, you'll never lose the client. That's number one. Number two, get an investment license or use your upline to go do that. Because in this case, if they're spending, call it $800 a month, $500 a month, $300 a month, and ours is $80 a month, $90 a month, that extra money, you got to get it invested so the client sees the value. And what happens is when you're life only, right, you don't do it, right? So, then you're just as bad as a cash value guy, I say.
I know. Don't you feel that's exactly it? Omar, while you're on that, can you tell us where again the rep can check where if the person is security licensed?
You could go to brokercheck.org and you enter in their name, and it's either there or it isn't there. Everybody that is investment license is there. It's required. It's a regulation website, and if they're writing if they're writing IUL, 99 out of 100 of them are not licensed.
No,
Yep.
exactly.
So, so
Awesome.
anyways, great job, guys. I really, really appreciate it. I very rarely jump on these Zooms, and
Oh, we are just so happy you
We
did.
are honored.
when
Yes.
Patty Perez texted me, I was like, well, I'm under the weather. I'm home I'm miserable. I got a cough, sore throat, stuffy nose. But I said I could watch, So great job. Really, really good training. Good value.
Thank
So
you. Appreciate it, Omar.
did it.
Thanks for hopping on and
Yep, you're welcome, guys.
speaking to our guys. Um, hey guys, we're just gonna take, if you don't mind, we're gonna take like 3 or 4 more minutes just to wrap up. So if you have to be somewhere at this exact moment, you can hop off. But we got a couple things to just
Oh,
put a
miss you.
bow on this, right, Mary? Just wrap this whole thing up with a bow, and we'll send you guys home. I want to show an example, because Omar mentioned it right there. Like, if you don't have an investment license, like, you definitely need to get one. But just so you guys know, like, buy term
Oh,
by itself
Jake,
might
switch your
not.
screen.
Oh,
I'm looking at
sorry.
presenter view. Just FYI, just I know. I want to see it big.
Buy term by itself might not beat IULs because the client's looking for an investment. But buy
Right?
term and invest, the difference beats IULs every time. So this is a side by side example, guys. Um, we've got an IUL policy, the one that we showed earlier. Okay, it's an IUL for a 34-year-old. It's a standard non-tobacco policy. And so we got $300,000 of a death benefit for him, and it's a $307 a month premium. Okay. In the policy, it says use of accelerated riders may reduce or eliminate other policy riders. As you heard, we went through some of those living benefits. After 35 years of putting $300 a month into this policy, you would accumulate 217,000 in your cash value. But after 47 years, Mary, of putting money into this policy month after month as an investment, 47 years later, the policy lapses, the cash value gets drained, there's no death benefit and no living benefits. So that's one way that you can go. But at Primerica, we tell people buy term, invest the difference, right, guys? So a 34-year-old standard non-tobacco precision term with us is 300,000. 35-year term is $60 a month, right? So now we're saving them a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
Then, if somebody's really interested in supplemental critical illness insurance or living benefit riders, you can go purchase supplemental critical illness insurance outside. And what that does is, if you do come up with a critical illness, you can just use this policy and not have to touch your your Primerica policy, your life insurance policy, right? And I actually went on to a carrier and gave them all my information. Okay, guys, I did this for all of you on this call so I could get a quote for us to know exactly how affordable it was, because they made me put in all my info, my social. I mean, I had to give them everything. And to get a quote, finally, I got a quote. It was $20 a month for a supplemental critical illness insurance. But then they proceeded to call me, email me, follow up with me for like 3 months trying to get me to buy this one little policy. And I endured all of that just so I can get a quote for us to know how much is a supplemental critical illness policy. And it was about 20 bucks a month. I did it last year when I was 34 years old. So it's like perfectly lined up with this. And it was like 20 bucks a month for about 100,000 of critical illness. So if you really need it, Mary, you can use that. And then you still have your $300,000 death benefit. And then we still save them $237 a month. If we invest that at a 9%, we got 700 grand after 35 years. And after 47 years, $2.1 million. So, guys, buy term and invest the difference works every single time. You guys have the formula, you have the best products, the best services. You're helping people create wealth, right? The other policies, the other company, they're selling policies just to make money, right? They make a lot of money on this. You're creating wealth for people. And with that, guys, look, I just want to wrap up. You guys have
Hey
the gift.
Jake. Hey
Yeah,
Jake.
come on.
Let me just add one last thing here that wasn't mentioned here. You guys did a great job with the products. We have to recruit big. Okay. How do we run into these? Every one of you right now is drooling at the mouth. Like, if I got one of these policies, I could totally replace it. Well, if you ain't out recruiting people and training people and getting in their warm market and doing appointments, you're not going to run into these policies. They're not going to hunt you down and knock on your door and say, hey, let me in, replace me, right? You got to get your butt out of your comfort zone, go recruit people, field train them, get out in their warm market with their parents and uncles and aunts and cousins and brothers. And man, they are writing this crap like crazy right now. Every like 10 years, I've been here now 30 years at the end of this year, 30 years in the business. Every like 10 years, these scumbags come out of their closet and they re-engage and they go after middle class America. And so we got to get to them. How we get to them, we have the greatest prospecting tool ever. It's called recruiting people, giving them an opportunity to change their life. When they recruited me 29 and a half years ago, I was a kid in college, just graduating from college, $28,000 in the hole, right? Today we got $19 million saved. We live in a $5 million mansion and we make $2+ million a year in income, most of it in overrides, right? So no matter how great of a product they would have wrote me, it would not have changed my life the way recruiting me did. But recruiting me has changed the life of thousands, tens of thousands of people. We did last year, we did $48 million in premium, which is like 50,000 life apps in a year. We did like $138 million in investment volume. And could you imagine if you overrode all that? There are Omars out there. They're everywhere. You just got to find them, train them, teach them, and let's go wipe these I.U.L scumbags off the planet Earth. See ya.
I love that, Omar. And this, I think this slide shows it well, right? Right,
Wasn't sure,
guys? How are we going to wipe these guys out? That's Mary Miracle, if you didn't know.
but that's me. I'm the Titan. It's like, this is Sparta. Pow, pow, pow. You see? Those are Louis Vuittons.
Oh, yeah.
But listen, yeah, show our thing. You are supported by us, your regional sales manager, right? You have a whole entire team. I just want to shout out every single buddy that we have. We have, of course, Shane Rubin Jr. in the Central, Arthur Butler in the Northeast, John Foppy in the Southeast, Danielle Wilson in Florida, Talia in California, and our Southwest is coming soon. I represent Mid Atlantic, of course, you know, Jake for the Northwest, and these are the contacts. RVPs are the ones that chat with us. If you have questions, you always go to your RVP first.
That's right. So, guys, thank you for getting on. Omar, thank you again for hopping
Yes,
on.
thanks, Omar.
What a
I'm sorry.
great closing message, right? We can't don't just get fired up about this, but man, we got to be at the kitchen table recruiting, and we got 5-6 days left in the month, right? This is the last weekend of this month. I'd encourage everybody to finish strong in October. And thank you all for joining. Have a great night.
Absolutely. And at this point, I'll go on and play us out with some music. Just kidding. But I could if I wanted to. We'll figure out that sound thing next. We will.
We will figure that out next time.
Right.
I'm glad this was recorded.
Me too.